everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me today is my guy, Rodney McLeod. We will not be joined by Gerard Powers today as he has real-life obligations to go forth, but I do have a very, very special guest come on. Thank you, Rodney, for reaching out and bringing him on here. Our special guest today is a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, former Defensive Player of the Year, and a guy who swats down ducks as though he was playing duck hunt. That is Stephon Gilmore.
Hey.
Guy, appreciate you.
What up, Gilly?
What's up with you?
What up, man?
All right, Rodney, since you're here, why don't you start this show out for us today?
Yeah, man. Glad to have my guy on here. You know, Gilly Lock is what we call him in the locker room, man. One of the best to do it. And it's a pleasure to have him on today. So, you know, man, Gilly, I think obviously you had an amazing play last week in that game, sealed the ball game for us. Just walk us through that play. What was you seeing? What were you thinking? Get the viewers out there. Let them get into the mindset of you a little bit.
I think that play, you know, it was a long drive. Obviously, they drove the ball all the way down. And, you know, we was kind of playing zone for the most part. But, you know, Coach Gus, he at the end of the game, he called out, you know, all-out blitz. And, you know, I was on Devante Adams and, you know, studying him throughout the week. I noticed, like, when he does beat players, he beat players at the beginning of the route. They can never recover because it's quickness. So I kind of inched off the ball a little bit and made sure I knew where he was going and was able to stay on him and beat him to the spot, widen him to the sideline. So, you know, that's one of those plays, you know, it's just you and him and another great player. And you got to make the play to put your team on top.
Yeah, man, it's interesting because, you know, a lot of people in that position would panic, I think, right? But, I mean, you played this game a long time, but what keeps you so poised in those moments, those game-sealing moments, those moments where you know the likelihood is I'm going to be targeted, especially, like you said, with Devante Adams. I mean, we've seen him all game having his way at times. And, you know, in this moment, it's less than 10 seconds left, more than likely the ball's coming your way. So how do you stay so poised in those moments?
Yeah, like you said, he made some plays throughout the game. But for myself, I think, you know, for me, it's like it brings the best out of me because, you know, no matter what happened all game, you know, you make that play, everybody forgets about.
Yeah.
You know, so I think of it that way. And, you know, I really dig deep mentally and really focus on the moment. You know, like his split, where he lined up, you know, just remembering on film, all that's going through my mind, you know, before he snapped the ball. And, you know, just, you know, with the preparation during the week, you going into the game, you get in that moment, it's no panic because, you know, you study, you know, you trust your technique and, you know, I'm confident in myself and I've been in that position a lot of times in my career. And, you know, it brings the best out of me.
You got to remember Bet Online because basketball is back. Bet Online remains your number one source for all your betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, game trends on Bet Online. As your continued source for all sports wagering information, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's the NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet Online, where the game starts. The Indianapolis Colts currently are sitting number 4 in the NFL as the 4th best defense when it comes to yards per game. Both of you guys, Rodney, Stephon, what do you attribute to the defense to be able to accomplish being a top 5 defense in the NFL right now?
I mean, I really feel like it takes it goes both ways, right? And not one position group or level of defense does it on its own. It's a collective effort. And I think first it starts with the run, right? Like us being able to force teams and become one-dimensional helps. And you got to credit, that front seven, Big Grove leading the way up there, man. Those guys do an amazing job. And then on the back end, I think it's just, us paying attention to detail. Like Steph said, man, the level of preparation that we had that goes throughout the week. We're very versatile on the back end. And so that gives us an advantage. And, it's worked for us. We're eliminating explosives. We're winning on third down, which is what you want to see. When you talk about winning football games and having a top-level defense, third down, red zones, turnovers stick out the most. And, we're one of the best in third downs. Red zone, we're kind of probably middle of the pack or so. I know we want to have a few of those back. And then turnovers has been something, we really emphasized lately. It's been hard, but, I have a good feeling, man, that, they're going to start, pouring in for us and coming in bunches. I mean, it's something that we talk about every week. And I think it's just a matter of time before we all just have one of those games, 3 turnover games. We long overdue, to be honest.
Yeah.
You have anything to add, Stephon?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with everything he said. Big credit to like Buck and Grove and those guys up front, and even our linebackers, Bobby, Z. Those guys playing, lights out, and even Speed come in and make plays. On the back end, we just playing, great coverage. Not playing one coverage, mixing it up. I think it's just a team defense playing together and making plays. Like Rod say, I think the only thing that we really got to emphasize a little more is turnovers. We got to get the ball because it's been a minute. Since we looked at it.
For real, no.
So I don't like that feeling at all. So, but I think it's everybody. Everybody playing hard. Big credit to the guys up front. Us on the back end pushing each other each and every week, and that's what it's going to take to us to get these W's this upcoming week.
Awesome. Hey, Rodney, we discussed a little bit about the fact, obviously last week when Frank Reich was fired and Jeff Saturday came in, you and Stephon now have had a week with him, over a week now, or a week today, with your new interim head coach, Jeff Saturday. I'd just like both of you guys to kind of give us a little bit of thoughts about the man and the coach, Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, Jeff has been amazing since, he's come in. It's been obviously a few days, right? But I think he's made a great impact. It's not easy to win in this game. And so he comes right in, man, and obviously helps us and leads us to a 1-0 victory, like as we call it, versus the Raiders. And after everything we endured throughout the week and keeping the team together, keeping the morale there, keeping guys focused and encouraged and motivated. You see, why he was a leader in that locker room in the Peyton era, and you see how passionate he is, and that flows into the room, the energy that he came with, and he kept it simple. I think, in the way that he talked to the team, and he kept it very honest, and I think all of us can respect that. And he clearly has a player's perspective in mind at playing the game for a very long time. So he understands, the difficulty, right, that, we were under as players. But it worked, man. I'm glad that we were able to get him his first victory. Looking forward to many more. I remember this vividly in the game. He's coming by the defense, after every drive, like, hey, man, keep doing your thing. Man, we might give up one. Look, we got your back. Like, what I'm saying? Just stay at it. And so that's what you want to see. As the game goes on, it's highs and lows, man. But the coach is constantly keeping you locked in, keeping your energy high. And I think on kickoff, I could just hear him like, all right, Rod, get down there right behind me. And I'm like, I just give a thumbs up without looking, like, I hear you. That's the type of guy he is, man. He's very in tune with everything that's going on in the game, is something that I was able to notice on Sunday.
Gilly?
Yeah, for sure. I think the energy part, stuck out for me. Obviously played this game for a long time for a great organization. And like Rod said, he kept it simple. He told us the formula to win the game. And one thing that, his first meet, he came in and said, he was an undrafted guy, was cut and came in and, so he understands the grind, to get to where he got to be in the ring of honor. He really believes in, practicing and practicing hard. And that stood out last week that, even the practice, that energy, he was screaming, hollering at the players, just I think we needed that last week, with everything going on. It just felt different, so I'm just happy, he's our coach now, and hopefully we can keep this thing going.
Absolutely. Rodney, you have any other questions or anything you want to talk about?
I think, Gilly, I think when you look at basketball players, right, you look at the Kobe's, the Mikes, the LeBrons of the world, and they have those finishing moments, right, throughout their career, and you always go back to the percentages and like who's the best closer to ever do it, right? And so I guess throughout your career, what would you say your percentage is in those closing moments? Because this year alone, I feel like you've been at the forefront of every moment we've had where we needed a play at the end of the game, whether it's 4 minutes left in Denver or whether it's 20 seconds left again in Denver, but more importantly last week, and you come up big, man, and it's shown. And so I just wonder, has anybody ever put a statistic out there or anything throughout your career in those closing moments?
I think for me, I'm very competitive. And one thing about myself that I like covering the best guy because I know, that's where the ball going. So It's like me at practice, it's one-on-one, and it's coming your way. So I love that challenge. And, at the end of the game, most teams want to go to their best guy. So I'm always going to be in that position. So, I think 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make that play at the end of the game. So I believe in myself, and, I'm not perfect, obviously, but, I take myself over anybody, and throughout my whole career, I've been able to make those plays and those big moments, where it's in the AFC Championship, Super Bowl. I've always been able to deliver, and I never back down. If it didn't go my way, I don't make excuses. I say, hey, I believe in myself. I got to make that play. So, that's why I play the game. Some of my favorite players, back in the day, like Deion and Champ Bailey, all those guys, Reeves has made big plays and big moments. So I told myself, if I ever get that chance, I want to be one of those guys one day, and be mentioned in those guys, those guys' names. So that's why I play the game.
Oh yeah,
Rodney, man, you being humble because you left out the tag team play between you and Gilly in the Kansas City game to seal that one off.
Hey,
all right,
hey, it's too many to name.
I know, right? I get you,
but it's like every time five is right there in the picture, man. And,
absolutely,
it's very humbling to see, firsthand how he goes about his business. And you always admire a person's game from afar when you don't play with them and you just watch them on tape. But it's another thing when you see the daily routine and what makes them who they are.
Thank you for watching Believe in Colts with myself, Gerard Powers, and Rodney McLeod. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we upload a video, because there's a minimum 3 a week every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If there's other ways that you would like to support this channel, check out the description of this video for ways you can check out the merch shop, follow us on social media, and then, of course, a donation link. All support is welcome. Let's get back to the show.
I think my last question is, we were talking about those finishing moments of the game and the closer that you are. And clearly we played, Washington, right? And that last play, again, right there to make it, but we came up a little short. But just talk about the mental aspect of the game, right? You playing corner. I mean, those plays are going to happen, whether it's within the game, it's the last play of the game, but you have to be able to now bounce back and still have that level of confidence in yourself that you're going to be put in that position again, but how are you going to respond? And I think that was just 2 weeks ago, right? And now you place back in that situation this week and you don't flinch, right? Yeah. So just take people through that mindset and how you were able to not necessarily get down on yourself in that moment, but be able to like say, hey, look, I know what I need to do. I mean, he made a tough grab, but I like myself, like you said, 9 out of 10 times again, when that opportunity presents itself, I'm going to make the next one.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's that play against Washington, you know, he made a great play. And, you know, I felt like I was right there. You know, it's just he kind of just snatched it out of my hand, you know, at the last minute with his momentum. But, you know, you got to have a short-term memory playing corner, you know. I try to reset each and every play because, you know, you make one mistake at corner, it can be a touchdown. So I just try to stay even keel and, you know, just try to reset each and every play, reset every series. And, you know, I think that's why I'm the player I am today, you know, my consistency. I'm able to forget about the good or bad and, you know, move on throughout each and every play, each and every game, every year. I try to, you know, forget about what I did in the past and really focus on the future. So I always had that mindset throughout my whole career.
I got 2 questions left. One is just a simple, quick answer, but real quick before I let you go, Stephon, first off, appreciate you being on here again. Secondly, with the new coach at the end, we all found out right at the beginning of the game this past Sunday that Matt Ryan was going to be starting the game. The offense, for the most part, I know you guys aren't going to really, you know, push on this, but they really haven't been holding their end of the bargain. It's been the defense and the special teams, for the most part, playing the best winning football for the Indianapolis Colts. What was it like seeing Matt Ryan come back onto the field for you specifically? What was going through your mind? And then, of course, them being able to move the ball and have, you know, score 25 points in a game finally.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was confident, honestly, in Matt. He looked very good throughout the week, and I really don't know how that stayed under the radar, to be honest. I kept looking at Twitter to see if there was something that ever leaked, and we kept it on hush. But, man, I mean, Gilly would tell you the offense, it looked very fluid throughout the week. They were clicking, man, you know, running attack, passes, the throws that Matt was making. And like you said, he just was he wasn't dressing last week. And to see him come out on Thursday and perform the way he did, and then it carried over to Sunday, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more than that. And you can see the energy there, like, you know, that he really wanted it, man. Him getting the opportunity, you know, missing the past 2-3 games, whatever it was, and now being able to step back into the starting lineup. You know, I think that kind of motivated him a little bit. He went in with a chip on his shoulder, something to prove, as we always do, but I think even more so for him. And yeah, they executed and had a great day on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. To be honest, I like that strategy last week, you know, them not knowing, you know, who was going to play. And, you know, next thing you know, Matty Ice pop out there because I'm pretty sure they're preparing for Sam. And so I just think, you know, it's a different energy. You know, when you step away from the game for a little bit, you know, you come back. I think you really appreciate those moments, you know, and I think Matty Ice, you know, he came in energized, you know, he was ready. You know, he's seen a lot of football. You know, he's played in great games. He knows the game as well as anyone. And I think he was just ready for that moment. But I think last week, you know, offensively and defensively, we won the game up front. You know, when you can win the game up front, you know, on the offensive line and defensive line, you know, it gives you a chance, you know. And I think they did that last week offensively. And, it opened up a lot on the offensive side of the ball. And I think we have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball at the receiver position. Alec, Pitt, PC balling. We got some good tight ends too. Got a great offensive line. We just have to, put it together and be physical at the line of scrimmage. And, I think the sky's the limit for those guys. I really believe in those guys because going against them in training camp, they was tough to cover and guard and even stopping the run. So I'm just looking forward to those guys, being consistent, coming into this week going against a great football team like the Philadelphia Eagles. I know Rod got a little bit more heat going into this game. So it's going to be a fun matchup.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. My last question. It's just something that I ask every guest that comes on here. Stephon, what is your favorite go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food, I would say comfort. What do you mean by comfort?
Something that you go home, you want to relax, enjoy yourself, sit down. It's your favorite, like, just food. Doesn't matter if it's on your diet or not. You know what I mean?
Like that go-to meal.
Yeah, that go-to meal.
What you going to?
I'd say probably like salmon, salmon and broccoli, rice, something like that.
My man staying humble. My man.
I know, right?
He talk about the wings all the time. He went to the fish.
I like seafood, but my favorite food is branzino.
Okay.
Branzino
hit different.
Yeah,
There you go. Well, Stephon, I appreciate you again coming on here. Rodney, thanks for reaching out. This was a great opportunity for Colts fans to get a little bit to know both you guys at the same time. Obviously, Rodney's here every week. We appreciate him as well coming on. Stephon, man, keep balling, my guy, and hopefully we'll see another dub this upcoming Sunday.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you having me, bro.
All right, Gilly. I'll see you in a little bit, bro.
I see you, bro.
Have a good one.
Yep.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Stephon Gilmore. Thank you to the Colts organization, Gilmore for showing up, and of course Rodney McLeod for reaching out in the first place. Man, overall thoughts about the game this past Sunday, Rodney. What was it like for you to finally see the run game get going for the second time all year? Watch Jonathan Taylor finally get a big run. And what does that do for the defense?
Yeah, that was a very impressive performance by the offense. And I think both pass game and rushing, I think we had 166 on the ground. It was great to see JT back in the lineup and break a long one off for about 66 yards down that sideline, man. That's one thing I told him when we got on the bus is, the speed element of 28 is surprising because he's so, he's a big guy, and I don't think you really expect him to be able to break away in the open field the way he does. And so he was able to outrun the safety, man, and give our team a huge spark when we needed it because honestly, man, defensively, the drive that they scored on, we had a lot of mental errors. That was very self-inflicted, but you can feel, them now starting to feel as though they have the momentum and everything on their side. And then just like that, we respond in a huge way. And so to be able to get the run game going it works. And it's a huge component for us. When you're able to run the ball, that keeps teams honest, doesn't make you one-dimensional. It opens up the pass game. You start getting defenders, obviously running downhill, safeties biting up, and you're able to take those shots when you can. And that's what we did. And I think we have to continue with that dual attack. But credit to the offensive line, man, for getting movement up front. And also protecting Matt when we did drop back. And I think, like Gilly said, everything starts up front, both offensively and defensively. We were able to contain 28, Josh Jacobs, man, who's an incredible running back, to 77 yards. And that doesn't, happen easily, right? That's a committed effort every single play, having that mentality that Gilly talked about, that reset right, and worry about focus on the next play and keep doing it, continue to do it. And we were able to, keep him contained, which allowed us to be able to, do a lot more in coverage to contain 17, contain Derek Carr a little bit. And it worked. Great effort in all three phases. And it's one of them games you want to go through, to be honest. Tough week, but a tough game, an even tougher game to be able to scratch, claw, the ups and downs. We're up, they come back, what I'm saying? And then it goes down to the closing moments. You need to experience all of that throughout the course of a season, as you're on this journey to a championship.
Absolutely. Now, I am going to take you back to a negative play on defense where the Raiders were on the 50-yard line. Derek Carr steps back in the pocket, climbs the pocket, throws the football to Adams, who's crossing the field, and then he catches it and runs it in for the touchdown. Could you take us through your mindset of that play and what exactly happened from a field perspective on that play?
Yeah, me and Gilly actually were guarding a post route on the opposite side. So, I look back to see if he's throwing it to our guy, and I see 17 with the ball in his hands in space. And at that point, he's got a head of steam. Me and Gilly tried to, lay it on the line, make a tackle, saving touchdown tackle, and, fell short. But it was just miscommunication on the other side. And I think, one of those things is just, that's what happens, right? When we're not all on one accord. That's in any phase of the game. When you're not all on one accord and a couple guys might be playing one play and you got 10 guys playing one thing and the 11th guy doing another, the results, are going to work in the opponent's favor. And so we understand that, know that we can't put that on film, and those sorts of plays will come back to hurt us. And so it's a fixable correction. And, I understand that, we're going to be better moving forward. But, those are just self-inflicted wounds that we have no margin for error. And of course, us being a top 5 defense, if we want to grow to that point of becoming number one, we're going to have to minimize as many mental errors, missed tackles, communication busts, all those sorts of things, right, to keep teams contained and out the end zone.
On a positive note, though, the defense got a lot of PBUs, right?
Yeah.
They got a ton of them. I mean, everybody was in on it. Besides Gilmore, you had Isaiah Rodgers, you had Brandon Faison out there getting some nice pass breakups.
Yeah.
Even Bobby O came out there and was knocking balls down.
Bear down, man.
Absolutely clutch play.
Yeah.
But all those PBUs, but we couldn't come up with a turnover. How do we turn these PBUs into turnovers?
Man, I'm mad at myself on the one Gilly and JB had against Devante Adams. I think it was a forced throw by Derek Carr. He was double teamed. We were in great position. And honestly, I'm a buzz defender, so I'm way in the flats, but I just see the ball thrown, so I, immediately start running. That's what we coach. That's what we practice to do. And I'm running, but in a sense, I'm watching the play as it's unfolding, and I'm thinking that Gilly or JB are going to intercept the ball. So I'm getting ready to celebrate as I'm running because I see it, and next thing you know, the ball gets tipped up, and it's in the air for a very long time. and I just try to hit another gear, dive out. I end up with, grass all in my face mask. But it's one of those plays where you're like, man, you were just running just a little bit more and not expecting them to make the play, because I got into the mode of, all right, once they make the interception, I'm going to turn, I'm going to block, get ready to get us in the end zone. And K-Mo was also there. He kind of thought the same thing. I did not expect the ball to bounce that way. But it's little things like that, right? It's taking advantage of every opportunity that comes our way. And it's just, I think it's one of the things that's just going to happen. And I'm a firm believer. You can't force anything. When you start trying to force plays, that's when you end up when you're not where you're not supposed to be, and bad plays tend to happen. So I think we just have to stay the course, keep trusting, keep believing, keep being in the right spots, being in great position, and the plays will come.
Absolutely, man. I was reacting to that play live on YouTube, and I was just like, Rodney, no, you needed to make that. You were like this close.
I know.
Man.
I know. It's sickening. It's sickening.
But things like that happen. At least it wasn't a catch. At least it was a pass breakup, and you guys were able to end up winning that game. Now, there's a lot of talk about an interim head coach coming in, being a vocal leader, being a guy who brings a lot of juice into a team on the first game, as Jeff Saturday has, and riding that to get a win. Now, do you attribute that kind of brief high excitement that Jeff Saturday brings to that win, or do you believe that this is something that can continue throughout the rest of the season and go on a run by continue playing the type of play and the high energy play that we saw this past Sunday?
Yeah, I believe that it can continue, but I think it starts with the players, and that's us just going out and executing. That's us having the same mindset that we had this week. Is our level of preparation, our practice habits have to be great. We have to treat practice like the game. Have that same energy, hold one another accountable, and hold ourselves to the standard that we set. Right. This is a great example of that. The standard that we set for ourselves, being able to run the ball, being able to pass the ball at a high level, defensively. Pass breakups. Stopping the run. We've proven that we can do it. Now it's time to do it on a consistent basis. And, it doesn't matter. It's a challenge every single week, right? Like, we understood our challenge. Maybe that was it gave us more to prove going into this week, and hearing all the outside noise, and, they have no chance with inexperienced head coach, and they just lost Frank Wright, who's experienced, and the team's probably going to be going in a different direction. Who's going to be quarterback? All these question marks behind us. And we went out and got the job done. Now, we're not necessarily, I'm going to say, we're not going to catch teams by surprise, right? People see what we can do, right? And now we have a great challenge in the Eagles coming in this week, who unfortunately, got their first loss last night. So they're going to be pumped and ready to come back out and get that bad taste out of their mouth. So, it's just week to week. You gotta come and bring your best. And ultimately, it's up to us as players to have the right mindset and go out and take no prisoners, man. Get the job done.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for watching. Again, Rodney, appreciate you reaching out and grabbing Stephon Gilmore for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, please make sure to download it, share it to your favorite social media. And if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button and share it as well. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Rodney McLeod. This was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?